All right, the video you've all been waiting for, the Akash network. This has been one of my most requested videos, and I'm finally doing it. So there's a lot of confusion around this network. People see it as a cool thing, maybe a cool way to get some passive income, but I think there's confusion about what the actual purpose of the network is. So it's probably good to understand that first before you look at how to make millions of dollars and how to buy that Lambo. So let's just jump into it and take a look at the network. And I wanted to introduce where some of this confusion is coming from, I believe, is from this Supermini. You see, this is essentially a plug-and-play solution to generate passive income, which, don't get me wrong, this sounds awesome, but I just don't believe that this is their main product. So what exactly is their main product then? Well, their main product is actually a cloud platform. So when you get to the Akash website, and they just redid it, which is nice because I think it clears up a lot of the confusion, they make it very clear that the Akash network is for cloud computing. So let's take a look at this network from a consumer point of view, not to make money, but to actually use the network. So if you're an app developer or a business who wants to deploy an app, there are a few cloud solutions out there. There's Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google, IBM, a couple of others. But the reality is the majority of cloud computing is owned and controlled by the big tech companies. This centralization of ownership of cloud computing between the big tech companies has led to some issues such as high prices, potential concerns for censorship, the requirement that you put a lot of trust into these companies, and that is what the Akash network is trying to solve, a decentralized cloud provider. But the Akash company is not the one providing the cloud. Rather, it's the people of the network. So I can provide cloud computing resources, computer hardware, to anybody who wants to host an application. So that is how I would make money. So you can think of the Akash network as more of a cloud computing marketplace. Censorship resistant, permissionless, and self-sovereign, Akash network is the world's first open source cloud. Scrolling through this, you can see that you will basically define what you need. Here are my resources, and then you will define the prices you're willing to pay. The providers bid on this, guaranteeing the best price. So any application that you would deploy on a traditional cloud, you can deploy it on the Akash network. And one of the biggest things they're advertising is that you can do this at a lower cost. So let's take a look at the Akash Supermini. Now that we get that background, this is the most powerful portable supercomputer. It's sold out and you can join the wait list. How does it work? Quickly and easily generate passive income at home or at the office by becoming a cloud provider on the Akash dCloud, the world's first decentralized cloud marketplace. Run an application or machine learning workload, or offer your Supermini's unused compute to earn Akash token. Get full control over your data and secure 2x to 3x lower cost for cloud compute. Avoid costly cloud service providers. So the Akash Supermini has two purposes. One, you can use it to run applications of your own, and two, you can use those resources in the Akash Mini to host other people's applications and get rewarded the Akash token in exchange. Here's a guide on how you would actually deploy an application for those of you interested in trying to deploy an app on the Akash network. There's a lot of details on here on how the entire process works. Alternatively, you can become a provider. And in this situation, you're providing computing resources and getting rewarded cryptocurrency. I think this is most ideal for those who are technical in nature, can understand how to do this kind of stuff, or this is where the Akash Supermini comes in, those who just want to buy that plug-and-play solution and just get it up and running. So they're advertising that the cloud services are going to be cheaper than these other cloud providers, right? So why would somebody decide to offer their services on the Akash network if the cost is very low for people who want to host applications? Well, the target here, I believe, is unused hardware or unutilized hardware. So, you might have a server or some computing power that is not used very often or is only fractionally used, and you can make a little bit of extra money, which can help pay off the hardware or lower your operating expenses by essentially renting out that unused hardware. And this is pretty open. So you can think of maybe a cloud provider that's already out there. They might only be using 50% of their total computational power. So they could use the additional 50% with the Akash network and earn a little extra money. Comparatively, they might not make as much as their traditional hosting environment. However, those are computers that may not have been used otherwise, so they can increase their income a bit by supporting the Akash network. So this is the Akash network white paper, and there's a few things I want to call out in here that I think are interesting. The first thing in the introduction, providers use Akash because it allows them to earn profits from either dedicated or temporarily unused capacity. Idle, underutilized servers prove to be costly and wasteful. Analysts estimate that as many as 85% of servers in practice have underutilized capacity. So instead of those computers just sitting there, they can offer them to people who need to host applications. This is enabled by a blockchain-powered distributed exchange where clients post their desired resources for providers to bid on. The currency of this marketplace is a digital token, the Akash, whose ledger is stored on a blockchain. When a new provider chooses to offer its resources on the Akash network, rather than being approved, it must stake a meaningful value on the network in Akash tokens. There's no minimum stake amount, but participation in Akash network governance is proportional to a provider's stake. Stake contributions is factored into a provider's reputation score, which tenants may use as a deployment criterion. In other words, to provide your computer resources, you have to set aside a certain amount of Akash, which incentivizes you to be a good provider because you don't want to have those funds slashed. Additionally, having this crypto staked is a factor in your reputation on this network. So it's important to have a good reputation so people use your resources. Clients place deployment orders which contain a specification of the client's service needs, and data centers place fulfillment orders to bid on deployment orders. Deployment orders include the maximum amount the client is willing to pay for a fixed number of computing units, as measured by memory, CPU, storage, and bandwidth, for a specific amount of time. Fulfillment orders declare the price that the provider will provide the resources for. So to learn more about that, you can go to the bid pricing section of the provider documentation. I don't really want to get too deep into how to be a provider or how to deploy an app on the Akash network. Just want to show you where to get additional resources if you need. You can tell that this is fairly technical, and the Akash company realized this and brought something to the table known as the Supermini. That's where this product comes in. If you want to support this network by offering computational resources, but you don't have a server laying around, you're not really sure what to do to set it up, well, this is the solution for that. And again, it says quickly and easily generate passive income at home or at the office by becoming a cloud provider on Akash dCloud. So you plug it in, you offer compute, and earn Akash. You can get the specs for this, but it's kind of irrelevant to me right now as it is out of stock. You can't even order it if you want. So I guess we'll just follow this and see. I personally joined that wait list to see if I can get one. I think it'd be pretty cool, but overall, not really an option right now. So now you might be left with the question, if setting this up to earn money is super technical and requires computing resources, and the Akash Supermini is out of stock, then how do I actually make money with this network? Doesn't seem like there's a lot of options now, huh? But don't give up quite yet, because there are still some options on the table. Not this table, like... The only real solution for you now is to stake the Akash cryptocurrency. Right now, you're getting really high yearly returns of nearly 50%. That tied with the potential for the cryptocurrency price to go up as well, this could be a really good investment. Keep in mind, I said could be because even with the inflation rate, you might end up with twice as much cryptocurrency, but if the crypto price goes down to nothing, well, then you still have nothing. I'm pretty excited about this network. I think it has potential to go up in value, but I can't say for sure. You might see this number and just be immediately skeptical, but I've seen enough of these crypto projects to know that they incentivize early adopters extremely. So it's not uncommon to see returns in the hundreds or even thousands. Basically, these networks need people to support the network from the beginning. So the incentives at the beginning are typically very high. Now, to actually stake this cryptocurrency, you're going to need to do two things. You're going to need to acquire the cryptocurrency, and you're going to need a place to stake it. So my recommendation for where to acquire this is using one of these exchanges, obviously, because that's where it's actually supported. But I've personally used Gate.io. Whatever it might be, you have to acquire Akash in some way. And then you have to stake it using one of these platforms. I've personally used Kepler. So you can see here, I have a pending staking reward of 0.30 Akash. Now, the Gate.io works in the United States. If you're not from the United States, then I'd probably recommend Ascendex. I've heard good things from them, and you can try out these other ones as well. I'm just not familiar. Now, a word of warning is when you look at a coin price and you're like, oh, it's $4. This has so much potential to grow. Well, that doesn't always work out. And if you already have experience in cryptocurrency, this probably makes sense. But if you're a beginner, the cryptocurrency price is not the only thing that matters. It's also the supply of the cryptocurrency. Because if you imagine there's 10,000 of a cryptocurrency and it's priced at $10, well, that's a lot different than if there's 10 million of a cryptocurrency and it's priced at $10. This is where the market cap of a cryptocurrency comes in, and it's basically the supply multiplied by the price. So don't compare cryptocurrency prices and be like, oh, Akash is only $4, Bitcoin's $50,000. Maybe Akash will be $50,000 at some point. Because most likely it won't be, because there is significant more Akash in supply than Bitcoin, which caps at 21 million, whereas the total supply of Akash is in the hundreds of millions. And I'm trying to remember the maximum supply of Akash. I think it was like 388,539,008 Akash, if I remember correctly. And again, this will largely incentivize people who get in on the network early, as there will be halvings every 3.75 years, so that's going to cut the reward in half. Back to that reward, I most likely will be doing a video with the step-by-step on how to actually get this cryptocurrency and stake it and start earning those rewards. You can look at those resources I shared if you want to get an early start, or you can wait for that video by slapping the subscribe button and the notification bell. I think the next big thing most people are going to be talking about is the Akash network provides decentralized cloud to the largest Internet of Things IoT network, Helium. So this is, I don't know if it's a partnership or a collaboration or what. I think there's like weird rules around partnerships, but basically Helium has the ability to host validator nodes in the cloud, and Akash is offering the ability to do that very easily and basically saying, hey, we are Helium friendly. So if you want to host a Helium validator, then you could consider the Akash network and potentially save money as well. As we mentioned, it's a lot cheaper than traditional cloud providers. So you can read through this article, and I'll most likely be doing some dedicated content on this as well, because we've talked about Helium on this channel, and as many of you know, Helium hotspot earnings are going to decline because validator rewards that are now given to hotspots will be moved to validator nodes, which requires a 10,000 Helium stake, which right now is like $150,000. So that is a video for another day, but I have a lot of content planned around that, so expect to see some of that soon. That was a lot of information. Hopefully that gave you a good introduction to the Akash network. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or favorite beverages, leave them in the comments section below. Again, you can check out the pinned comment for any resources. That's where we'll be putting all of our information for these videos. Thanks for watching. If you have any other good recommendation for networks, then let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.